And do you want me to be PC or not? It's your call. Do you want? Oh, I see it. Oh, D-Lake went live because he wants to get my real reaction. You've got my real reaction. D-Lake, do you want a censored Sam or a non-censored Sam?
Sam,
you are the host. You are the host.
Midnight. Look, remember back in the day when we had Cinemax after midnight? It's no holds barred, right? I mean, come on.
All right, here, fine. Here we go. Here we go.
Are we celebrating?
We are celebrating. We are celebrating. There's rum in this. Oh yeah, D-Like, let me tell you what. We won this, and if you're gonna get you want Sam uncensored, I'm gonna go first because D-Like asked me to. He gave me.
I want full on Sam. Tell me, give it to me.
We fucking did this, dude. We just fucking did this. Now, is it time for us to gloat? Is it time to us to be conceited? Fuck no. Let me.
Yes.
If Donald Trump does not build the wall, if Donald Trump does not support NAFTA, get us out of NAFTA, if Donald Trump does not defeat the TPP, if Donald Trump is not the low-tax, pro-job person we wanted, fuck him. Otherwise, we did it, David Lake. We fucking did it. Oh, my God. You have been called a whore. You have been called a tramp. You have been called a traitor to the country. What did we just do, Crystal?
We fucking did it!
Oh my God! Kenny from Trains Transportation. He doesn't like Trump.
I do like Trump. I became a Trump fan after I did my research.
Oh, what did we do, Kenny? What did we do? We took the world. D-Lake, go. D-Lake, go.
We took the White House, which is the most powerful position in the world. So we didn't take the world. This isn't Star Trek, or Star Wars, but we definitely succeeded in getting Mr. Donald J. Trump into the White House, which was my goal and objective all along. I wanted him there. My sister, who was on Apprentice, didn't really want him there. She didn't really want him there. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You wouldn't be on The Apprentice if it wasn't for me.
Really? Come on.
I've just been calling it all along.
Wait. Let me stop. D-Lake, you're going to get all the time you want to speak you want. I'm not interrupting you. D-Lake for Prez. He has talked to Donald Trump. D-Lake for Prez. His sister was on Donald Trump. D-Lake, give us the inside scoop. D-Lake, I won't say a word until you say the word. I am done speaking. D-Lake, go.
No, you're very gracious. Look, I met Donald Trump in person. I shook his hand. We exchanged a few words. He actually, when I told him who I was, Andrea's brother, he said, "Oh, I've heard of you, and I know you do great things." And I shook his hand, and I had a picture with him. And my Swedish friend, I'm like, Pontius, where the fuck is that picture? I need that picture immediately. He's running for president for over a year and a half. I'm like, dude, you got to find that picture with me and Donald Trump. But my sister has a picture with her and Donald Trump, and it's actually on the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
go, D-Lake, go.
She had a stupid article posted of her, my sister, and Donald Trump on Dose.
D-Lake, wait, D-Lake, I'm sorry. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did. My sister voted for Hillary.
Did you vote for Donald Trump, D-Lake?
I voted for Trump, but my sister voted for Hillary.
D-Lake, I'm keeping my promise, D-Lake. Oh, yeah.
What was your promise?
I promised it, did I not? I said I am an ass and I will put my ass online. Did I, D-Lake?
Your ass? Wait, I'm not seeing what you're showing me.
Oh, D-Lake, wait, don't.
Time to.
D-Lake, look at this, D-Lake. Oh, yeah, D-Lake. Oh, yeah! Christelle, are you? No, they didn't ask for Christelle. He didn't ask for Christelle. Go ahead, D-Lake.
Well, Sam, I think I might have saw Sam. Good thing I wear these glasses because I think I might have saw some backside balls. I don't really think we're allowed to show that on Google.
You are allowed to cut that out of the video.
It was very blurry. I'm sure it's fine. It's no big deal. You did promise America that if Donald Trump won, you would show your ass. So you're just living up to your word. That's great. Just like a couple days ago, my sister was in this article on Dose with a picture of her and Donald Trump. That's my sister and Donald Trump.
It is.
And she says, Trump as president would be a huge mistake. Well, too bad, Andrea. You owe me $10, bitch.
Speaking of winning money.
My sister owes me money. My friend owes me a big giant sack of marijuana.
Oh.
Speaking of winning money, hey, Sam, how much money did we win?
$121 because we put $25 on Trump.
And we got to see Sam's ass.
You want to know what's sad about that?
Donald Trump won. What does that mean? Because at the beginning, you sounded like, okay, great, now he's won. So now we need to all of a sudden just get really focused and critical about his first 100 days.
Yes. Yes.
That's what you say we need to do. That's what you say we needed to do. I was hearing, the announcements from Wolf Blitzer and the other media. They're like, oh, so Donald Trump got it. Drudge Report says, it's the end of the Clintons. Can you talk about I haven't heard a concession speech yet. Hillary said she won't speak tonight until maybe tomorrow or something. What do you think a concession from the Clintons is going to sound like? Did you hear any of Trump's victory speech? And maybe give us your victory speech. Not to gloat too much, but just tell us how you feel about it. Go ahead, Sam.
All right. First of all, Trump's victory speech. He was a lot more humble than many of us expected him to be. We won this. We don't care where you stood before.
He would be humble. He has to be unifying and humble.
Yes, and here's what I'm saying. This is going to be what I'm saying, and I think what Trump is saying. Clinton fans, we beat you. You want me to slap you? You want me to call you names? Wait, you asked me to finish. Here I go.
Yeah, no, I did.
Clinton fans, it's time for me to slap you, right? It's time for me to tell you you were wrong. It's time for me to tell you you were stupid. No, that's not going to get us anywhere at all. It's time for me to say this. When Ron Paul lost, when Gary Johnson lost, everyone told me it's time to try to get on board. It's time to try to make this work for Obama. Okay, fine. I'm not going to call you a name, and I'm not going to gloat. And Christelle, do I ever do that? No, never. Ever?
Absolutely never.
Look, that's not going to get us anywhere, friends. Christelle is on my side, but she knows I'm a dick, to be real.
Dick, hey, you're the whole ass.
It is time for us. It is time for us to realize Trump just won this. Now we will get behind him until he disobeys what he promised. For those of us that like what he promised, thank you, Mr. Trump, and may God bless you. For those of you that did not have our side, may we prove that we were right. We ain't got to gloat. May we prove it. D-Lake, we had a win tonight. Did you really think we were going to do it? Because I'll be honest, I was about 50-50, and I really didn't know.
Now is the perfect time for me to point out my page.
I was 50-50 tops.
No, but D-Lake, I studied. I did my homework. I knew what was up. We are on D-Lake's Facebook page. I've had the same main center picture for a couple months now. Hillary Clinton totally obsessed with the alt-right. My profile is winning, obviously. Let's go to earlier this evening and just do just cover the big bold.
Yes.
The big bold posts.
Yes.
Yeah. So I said, starting the evening, I said, look, I'm just pretty much looking at Florida. My whole way home, it was all about Florida. I talked to my neighbor who hates fucking Hillary about Florida. It was Florida. It was back and forth. I'm like, he needs to win Florida. Florida was frozen at 93 votes and counting, but Trump was up by 0.8. And then Trump had a star by his name for winning Florida. And I'm like, if he just won Florida, it's fucking on.
That is the same thing I said. Florida, and when I saw that she took California with 55 electoral.
California didn't matter. She already had that. She already had that.
Still ahead.
Then Trump got Ohio, or it was really looking good for him in Ohio, and I knew he would take it. And then I said, keep your eyes on Michigan for the flip. I announced that 5 hours ago. Then I said, Trump wins Florida. I said it was really close in Michigan. I said, Trump wins North Carolina. I said, New Hampshire, it was really tight. Trump was up by 3, and Trump wins Ohio. Then I said, Trump is leading in Michigan, and I said, that's the win, folks. If he gets Michigan, that's the win. I said, look for Michigan. I was telling people how to watch, like what to look for. I said, Trump wins Florida. Trump wins North Carolina. Trump wins Ohio. That pretty much was securing it. I said, Trump was up in Michigan. If he flips it, that's the biggest news. D. Lake said that. D. Lake, I put my name on it. Then I said, Trump is on the verge of the presidency. The world is in shock. Then I said, check the mainstream media forecast flip image where you can see on their results, like it was, oh, you got to see this. Let me just go to this so you can look at this, Sam. This is from earlier this evening. Look at this right here. Projection, reality. You see this big X right here, Sam, where reality hit? You see this projection, mainstream media projection.
Yes,
Do you see right here where reality hit? Sam, right there?
Yes.
You see where reality broke right fucking there?
Yes, I'm only interrupting because you asked for my input. Yes, it was right around the time that we knew that Trump had either Minnesota or he had Florida. And if he had either one, he was going to win. Yes, continue, my friend. Yeah.
It was, let's see, 6 p.m., between 6 and 7 p.m. Now, is that Eastern time? Because that was roughly around the time that it looked like Florida was his. But it was a real toss-up. My whole way home, watching intently, was about Florida. Then it looked like he had Florida. Then he got Ohio. Then he got North Carolina. Then I said, how to watch the election night. Look for Michigan. It equals 16, electoral college votes for the motherfucking win. At that point, he needed those 16 points big time. Then, Sam, I said, Lady Gaga last night, Sam, I'm sure you commented on your show earlier about how Lady Gaga was wearing like a pseudo future Nazi outfit last night at Hillary's rally. Did you comment on that earlier, Sam? The Nazi outfit. Well, she said it was a Michael Jackson outfit, and my coworker said today something I didn't know, that apparently Lady Gaga, with her riches and fame from music, like acquired a bunch of MJ's wardrobe, and she might even have actually been wearing Michael Jackson originals to look like a future Nazi at a Hillary Clinton rally. Like, not the best choice of things to wear to a spirit cooking. Well, at a spirit cooking, it might have been appropriate, but at the Hillary Clinton fucking rally for president, a future Nazi costume? I don't really think so. Sam, you're on mute. And then I posted that her costume her outfit was an ode to Michael Jackson. There's really only one problem with that. You know what I'm saying? There was really only one problem, is that actually Michael Jackson supported Donald J. Trump. He was a big fan of Trump.
I will say this, D, like, if I may
Then I said Trump, Pennsylvania. Then I said Trump 264. Then I said Hillary concession speech coming soon. It didn't come because she chickened out. Then I said Wisconsin. I said call motherfucking the state of Wisconsin. Let's have a victory speech up in this bitch, and let's just do it and call it a night. And then one of my friends chimed in and tagged me and a bunch of other people and said, let's make peace. And you called it, and I called it wrong, and you're right, now I'm wrong, but maybe we can still be friends. And I'm like, fuck you, pal. We're never going to be friends again. And then I said, victory, free shipping. Then I posted the victory speech, and then I said, let's reach out and unify, which is what Donald J. Trump said. Sam, the floor is yours.
I'm going to say this. We won, but let me tell you what. Here's the way we won. Here's the way we won. I'm going to describe it this way. When I went to, and we're going to put this in tiny person view, and this is Sam's view. It's tiny, nobody knows who you are view. I applied at the Legend of Bear Creek. Do me a favor, Christelle, and please get me the award real quick. I applied at this job, and I went there and I said, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to trust me to write the entire story that will carry the entire haunted house. This haunted house has not been open in 3 years. And I've got 2 people here that saw me enact what I did live. I said, I need you to do me a favor. Let me write the story. Let me tell the story. Let me be in charge of the way that the story is delivered. Give me that experience. Give me that trust. And I will give to you the best haunted house story that you've ever had. So I went there, and my boss gave me the job. And I wrote the story, and I went on the trailer, and I told the story. I told the Legend of Bear Creek to everyone. When I first got there, I was some guy that had never been in a haunted house before. I had never worked, thank you, Christelle, I had never worked in a haunted house before. I had never written a story that this guy had ever read. His name is Dave. He's the leader of the Legend of Bear Creek. So to put this in tiny personville, to put this in the words of average American, I said, do me a favor. I want you to trust me. Kenny, get ready. I'm going to put you on camera in a minute. I told Dave, do me a favor. Go ahead and put me in charge of the haunted house story. I will deliver the best haunted house story you've ever had. So that the owner of the Legend of Bear Creek, he put me in charge, and he said, Sam, you are the head storyteller. I hired a couple people that I knew were going to be good at telling a story, and I told that story online. I told that story on the freaking train when it was 35 degrees outside and it was freezing and I was covered in mud.
Now, Sam, you realize that Donald J. Trump has already won the presidency, so
I do. Let me finish. So I asked them, let me tell this story. Fast forward.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're trying to be the president, but it's already been
trying to be the president. Let me finish. So I went ahead and I'm asking Dave, he's the head of Legend of Bear Creek, let me tell the story. 9 weeks later, look at the camera, D-Lake. Out of 65 employees, I won Best Actor. Why? Because I told him I was going to be able to handle it. So now we'll take it out of Samville. We'll take it out of small I've never heard of youville. Mr. Donald Trump said, American people, do me a favor. Let me stand up for you. Let me go ahead and be your president. Let me do what I think is going to work. And I promise you, I'm going to bring you the country that you were given. So much like Dave from the Legend of Bear Creek and his daughter Jessie gave me a chance to lead the entire storytelling crew on the Legend of Bear Creek, Donald Trump said, D-Lake, they said, Sam, do me a favor. Let me lead you. D-Lake, we gave him that permission. And you know what? He's going to be the next person 6 months from now, standing there telling you how well he did. Exactly. That is my point. Let me tell you what. going to put
So
somebody else.
Dave is essentially the American people, and you're essentially Donald Trump.
That's absolutely it. And let me tell you somebody else that put their cojones on the freaking line for me when nobody else did. There's somebody right here. His name is Kenny. This is the owner of Change Transportation. I've been pushing him forever. And now that we have a big night, and now that we have listeners in front of us, I was the best storyteller, and I proved it. D-Lake said Donald Trump was going to win when nobody else said it. Kenny, tell the entire world why it is you supported this show and why it is that you are the best transportation service in Ohio.
Well,
Kenny, go.
Trump real quick.
Go. It's all Kenny's floor. It's Kenny's floor. Go.
Give him the mic. Put the mic close to Kenny.
Reason I voted for Donald Trump. Reason he should be our president is because he's going to take care of us. He doesn't care about the other countries. He wants to deliver, protect us, and give us everything we need. That's why I try to do in my company. My company strives to take care of people's needs and help them be able to get through the day. Cheaply, affordably, it's very simple. But back on Bear Creek, that thing was very interesting to build. The finer details of how the trap doors and the everything like that.
Oh, yeah, that right there. Right there. You know what? It's very easily that Hillary Clinton could have had a huge win tonight. And they would have said, Sam, you suck. They would have said, D-Lake, I don't like your beard. I don't like your hair. I don't like your glasses. They could have said, Kenny, you back somebody that lost. But he supported me anyway. And my bigger analogy here is the little man won tonight. D-Lake, take the floor. Take the floor, D-Lake. Take the floor. You were first.
In that way.
No, I'm going to say this. You did it before I did. You were there before I was. Take the floor, D-Lake.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. I feel in some ways it's the reason why Kyle is not on the show anymore. It all started around July of 2015 when I first got on board the Trump train. Before Jesse James, I believe, and before Alex Jones for sure. And back when Paul Joseph Watson was thinking that Donald Trump was a plant for Hillary Clinton, I was like, you're retarded. That's stupid. He's totally in it for himself and for the American people. I know the guy, or I feel like I know him. I've been in love with the man since the 80s. Go back to The Art of the Deal. The book was in our house growing up. I believe I bought it for my dad for Father's Day. The book, The Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump. It was in my house growing up. I read it when I was a young boy, and I remember reading it. A lot of good stuff. And my sister took a lot of that to heart. She was the kind of person that would read the fucking every card in the goddamn Trivial Pursuit catalog so she could win the game every time. I'm like, who does that? And then she was on The Apprentice with Donald J. Trump, like I've told you guys all before, which is how I met Trump and all that other stuff. So maybe I had a special affinity where I was like, yeah, I want the president to be someone I met before. But like I was saying earlier on the show, my sister, who was actually there with him, having lunch with him, and on the show and the whole bit, is like, oh, yeah, I can't vote for him. You know what happened to my sister? The New York Times got to her. You know, she doesn't smoke enough marijuana or do enough, like, she's not extracurricular enough, or she doesn't follow Paul. She's very business-minded. She is very left-brained. And I respect that, but I'm right-brained. And that's how I knew Donald Trump would win, going all the way back till last year when he first announced. And actually, if you go back and watch The Media Speaks going back to 2012, you might just find some videos back in 2012 where D-Lake said, you know what? I think Donald Trump would be a good president. Back when he was flirting with the idea. Because it didn't like Mitt Romney. I liked Ron Paul. And Danny Panzella calls me a sellout because I went from Ron Paul to Donald Trump. And guess what? I skipped over Rand Paul because Rand Paul just runs.
Now wait, D-Lake, I need to pause. Now we're gonna prove how cool D-Lake is, and trust me, he doesn't know I'm about to do this. That's why he's like, no. And this is why I'm gonna point it out. D-Lake's like looking at the ground, and he's like, "Nah, Sam, don't do this. Don't do this. I'm gonna do this. This isn't pre-planned." He's laughing because D-Lake is in fact a humble man. When I was telling D-Lake, get the hell off the Trump train. What is wrong with you? Support Rand Paul. D-Lake was dodging Sam. He didn't want to get in a fight. D-Lake, you knew that Rand Paul was going down the wrong path. And let's face it, let's go in the time machine.
Let
me finish. I'm going to give you the floor. We can go in the time machine. The people that owned the issue of taxes was Rand Paul and Ted Cruz. Donald Trump was polling at 2%. And you were on here telling me, Sam, Ted Cruz is a sellout. And that was you in court, to be fair. And I remember Kyle had already left the show, but you were trying to convince me that Rand Paul was going to blow it. How did you know he was going to blow it? D-Lake for Prez, who was right when I'm wrong. And I never say that. Christelle.
Absolutely never. Never.
D-Lake, how did you know? D-Lake, go.
You never say that I'm right? Or wait. No, but Sam, you were right because you actually were the one that injected that what Rand Paul did early on in the primaries was he focused too much on the Planned Parenthood,
yes,
the abortion. That was an 11th
record issue. Saying that.
When Trump was bringing up immigration and Trump was bringing up the top tier issues, Rand Paul wasn't bringing up the top tier issues.
No. But how did you know that he wasn't going to? Wait, there's two questions. I'm going to let Christelle answer. There's two questions. The first one is for Christelle. Christelle, do I ever say that I'm wrong unless I really, really, really know it?
Absolutely never.
Okay, D-Lake, I told you were crazy. How did you know before Rand Paul turned his back on us? How did you know he was going to do it? Was it because of what he did to Ron? Go, D-Lake, floor is yours.
It primarily had to do with the 2012 presidential election where it was coming down to the wire in the primaries between Mitt Romney and Ron Paul. And Ron Paul, to all the gauges that I was looking at, was still in it. They were saying that, Newt Gingrich dropped out and Santorum was already out. So it really was down to two people, and that was Mitt Romney and Ron Paul. But that was really only for a matter of just a couple of days. During those couple of days, Ron Paul had the opportunity to do what Gary Johnson did in 2012, and that was leave the Republican Party and go libertarian. And had Ron Paul in 2012 mounted a libertarian campaign with all the momentum and drive that he had right at that time and split from Romney and split the Republican Party, it would have been fucking monumental. It could have, reached Olympian heights. And Rand Paul never had that. He never had that. He fucking endorsed Mitt Romney. Then Luke Rudowski tried to question him, and Rand Paul just looked like an idiot. And I made videos saying, "Run, Rand, run." And I don't mean for president. I mean run away. But he's done good in the Senate, and has been a good senator. And I have to go look at what happened tonight. But I believe that he's still the senator of Kentucky. And also, speaking of senators, can I point something out right now, Sam?
Well, before you do, let me say this.
Well, no. Let me point this out real super fast.
Go ahead.
For all you people out there watching tonight's show, and we have viewers that are still feeling the burn. You know how much you loved Bernie Sanders and Bernie got burned. You know who Bernie got burned by? The DNC to Hillary Clinton. That's why Donald Trump won tonight, right? You realize that, right? But you know what? Everybody? Donald J. Trump is the president, and Bernie Sanders is still a United States senator, everybody. He's still a fucking senator. He's a senator. What's a senator? You fucking idiots for Bernie. You guys are retarded. You don't follow politics. That's why you couldn't call it. Sam and I follow this shit. That's exactly how we knew Donald Trump would be the president.
Now,
Thank you. I don't want to gloat, but
I'm going to paraphrase what D-Lake said. And
thank you.
Here's pretty much what I think D-Lake just said. And it's D-Lake. So you have to kind of go on the outskirts here. But here's what I'm saying. D-Lake said, because, and I went to Bilderberg. Christelle and I spent our own money to go to Bilderberg. We made a movie. It's free. Bilderberg, Why It Mattered to Me. Look it up on my site. Please look it up because I paid to do it. So I'd appreciate it if you looked at it.
It was a lot of work, let me tell you.
It was a lot of work and a lot of money. I went from Ohio to Virginia and covered this. I'll put it out there. I'll be real. Between the two of us, we were bringing home about $32,000 a year. We paid our own money and our own gas in our own van. We drove out there when Alex Jones asked us to. We interviewed Alex Jones, Mark Dice, Luke Radowski. Mark Dice doesn't even like me, I don't think. I don't know, but he interviewed me. Him and I agree, but on a personal level, I think he thinks I'm a long-haired freak with tattoos. That's okay. I think he's a pretty boy with spiked hair. But guess what? We might not like each other. We might not have a beer together. I don't know. I'd have a beer with him. He'd probably say, "You're an alcoholic," and throw the beer in my face. But the point is, him and I agree because we know at the end of the day we're right. Now, here's what I think D-Lake is saying. Because Ron Paul was betrayed by Rand Paul in 2012, right after Bilderberg, when all of us were sitting there saying that Ted Cruz or Rand Paul were going to take this, D-Lake was sitting behind the lines like Bill Belichick of the Patriots saying, "You trusted Rand when you went to Bilderberg, Sam. You spent $1,000+ to make that movie. Between time, and I charge $10 an hour for my time minimum. I'm $3 over minimum because I'm worth it. I should be 15, but I'm kind of a deal because I have long hair and tattoos. I went ahead. I'm making this movie. Like Sam, you're putting a lot of work into this. But now, 4 years, at that time, 2 years later, Sam, 2 years ago, this is D-Lake. I'm paraphrasing. D-Lake, pretend this is a beer. Sam, you trusted Rand Paul, and he betrayed you when you went all the way to Virginia to make a movie. And now you're trusting him. I'm telling you, he's going to let you down again. Glasses. Wait. I can even do it. No, they're not here.
Okay.
Glasses. You're wrong. You know what? He called it based on what...
You call a lot of stuff too.
Here's what's great. You called the presidential election 2 years ago because of what Rand Paul did to us when we were making a movie. Is that about right? That's
pretty good, but that would actually put it even further back than 2 years ago. But hey, look, 2 years ago since Donald announced. 4 years ago, Rand betrayed us. 2 years ago, Donald announced. That's what I mean. Right. Yeah. Well, that's a prediction, dude. I can't tell you. Let's just cut the mustard, Sam. We have a new president.
I got a question.
A new president of the United States of America.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask you a question. Here,
number 45. I have to ask you a question.
2 questions. Or then you can ask me 3. 2 questions. Here at 3:55 in the morning. One, it's 11/9/2016. And D-Lake, I don't expect you to get this right, but I swear to God I'm going to do this to you, and this is so unfair. Who will be running against Donald Trump in 2020 on the Democratic ticket? Oh, that's a hard one, but if anybody could do it, you could.
On the Democratic ticket in 4 years?
Who faces Donald Trump in 2020? Now, come on, friends. If he gets this wrong, it's 11/9/2016, and Trump was supposed to lose by at least 12. So come on.
Well, after being a senator in possibly Illinois, I'm going to say Michelle Obama.
Oh, D-Lake calls Michelle Obama. I call Chelsea Clinton.
That was my first. That was in my thinking process. It was definitely another woman challenger.
Oh, wait a minute. Christelle, the behind-the-scenes queen, says Kane, and because I'm married to her, I'm going to paraphrase. Kane only had 3 people come to see him when he went to speak, but what does that mean? It means that Kane didn't get popular enough to mess himself up. Kane may still have a future. She's calling Kane. I'm calling Chelsea Clinton, which D-Lake said is his second choice. D-Lake is calling...
You know what? Tim Kaine, forget about his 30 people at his rally or the 3 to 30 people at his rally. His big claim to fame was that he was 8-0.
That is true. That is true. All right, what's your question for me, D-Lake? I'm ready. I'm going to take a drink. I don't want to slurp into the camera, but go ahead. What's your question for me, D-Lake? I'm going to do my best.
Got me so sidetracked. I forgot my brilliant questioning. Give me a minute.
I'm giving you all the time you need. I am ecstatic, friends. And if I sound like I had a couple drinks, guess what, friends? I'm going to be dead honest. I've got nothing to hide. If I lie on air, then I'm an idiot. I've had a couple drinks. Do you want to know when I didn't have a couple drinks? For the 5 hours that I posted for free, that I didn't get paid for unless you donate to me at the correctviews@hotmail.com via PayPal. I got paid nothing. The amount of drinks I had was 0. When I was done, after 5 hours of commentary and streaming and monitoring and making sure the web didn't die, I went to the bar and I had a few drinks. That was after he won. This is after hours, D-Lake and I. Otherwise, we wouldn't have put my ass on the air. So, what's your question, D-Lake? I'm ready. I did my job sober. I
kind of forgot what my question was, and so now maybe I'm trying to think of a new one, a good one.
I didn't think of a new question.
Have we heard anything yet from Paul Ryan?
Paul Ryan, I think, is doing this. Let's pretend D-Lake when Anne-Marie quit, and this is all fictional, but Anne-Marie did quit. When Anne-Marie quit, let's pretend, D-Lake, that you and I got in a huge screaming match on air, and one of us picked a side as to why she quit, and then we found out that we were wrong. She quit. I invited her. Yeah, now I put myself into a can of worms, so I'll do it the other way. This lighter and this bottle of water hate each other. Now, you could pick any reason you think it is. So you say it's because the bottle is bigger, and I say it's because the lighter is smaller. And they fight, and we find out when we're done that the reason is because the lighter was green. We are now going to go into panic mode, and we're going to do anything we can to protect our credibility. Now, let's go out of fictional world. Let's go into real world. Paul Ryan sided with the Democrats when he was a Republican against the Republican in his own party. He wanted to make assumptions, and he was wrong, and he didn't admit it like I just did about Rand Paul. He didn't admit it. He didn't get out there and put his ass on the line and say, guess what, I was wrong. He's trying to save his career. That is the only thing Paul Ryan is worried about. Because you are on record for siding with the losing Democrats when you were a Republican because you sided against the Republican. You have just double lost. That's my opinion on Paul Trader freaking Ryan. Oh, wait, it's after hours. We're allowed to swear. Fuck you, Paul Ryan. Get the hell out of the Congress. You're a piece of human filth. Fuck you, Paul Ryan. Fuck you, Paul Ryan.
I think Paul Ryan might come around, but speaking of Pauls and going back to Rand Paul, I want to say this. In 2016, after his failed presidential campaign earlier in the year, he did actually support Donald Trump. And at first I was like, he supports Mitt Romney and now he supports Donald Trump. I mean, who will this guy not fucking endorse? But I realized the intelligence behind that move. But I also realized that, well, Rand Paul did endorse the eventual Republican nominee, which was his pledge, right? Remember when they all signed the pledge that fucking
honored that pledge,
but Rand Paul did. Did you know that Donald Trump gave money to Rand Paul's ophthalmologist programs in other countries? Did you know about that?
Rand did a lot of really good work. I can't believe how bad Rand did, considering what a decent person he really is.
When Donald Trump said that good people like Rand Paul are actually better in their position as senator than they would be as president, I fucking stood up and cheered. The fact that Donald J. Trump is the president and Rand Paul is a senator, that's a dynamic duo right there. I mean, the more that they work together, those two and others, and there's been a lot of talk. And Sam, let me get your thoughts on this. This is the question. How do you feel about Donald J. Trump announcing his cabinet before Thanksgiving, and who do you think will be in it, and who would you like to see in it? And Donald J. Trump is now the president, the 45th president. Who do you think he'll appoint to his cabinet, and what type of announcements do you think we'll see between now and the inauguration in January, Sam? And I think all the appointments and said appointments should be at least preliminary announced before Thanksgiving. Sam, go ahead.
All right, that's a toughie. You said think and want. So I'm going to go with want first. Who do I want to see Donald Trump announce as cabinet? I would like to see Ron Paul given Secretary of Defense. Why? Because Ron Paul will say, ignore it, oh, give a comment, ignore it, give a comment, give a warning, obliterate them, promptly remove them from the map as though they never existed. And if your name is Jesus Christ, you will not remember them. They will be that obliterated. I want someone like that. Someone I, for instance, would be the worst person in the world to be Secretary of Defense. Ron Paul would be the best person to ever give Secretary of Defense for. Who do I think? Well, Christelle has a comment here.
If Sam was the Secretary of Defense and you was so much to say the sky was blue and he said, no, it's purple, and you just keep agreeing that, no, it's blue, it's blue, he'd be like, I don't fucking care. And then he'd push the button on you.
That's not entirely true. If the resident...
that's not a ringing endorsement. What?
No, not really. But who do I think we're going to see? Well, I think we're going to see some Ben Carson. What's my opinion on that? Good.
Yeah, Sam, your fantasy list is just too out there. Just try to stick.
Wait, no, only one of them was fantasy. Ron Paul was fantasy. As soon as I got to the practical one, you cut me off. Ben Carson.
No, I'm saying stick to the practical.
I am going to say here at 4:05 in the morning, 11/9/2016, that Ben Carson will be on the cabinet. How's that? Ben Carson will be on Donald Trump's cabinet. D-Lake, what's your thought?
That's kind of a gimme, Sam. Well, you didn't even name what position he would be in, but
Ben Carson. Oh, which position?
Ben Carson wants to deal with education type stuff.
Maybe he could have. I see Ben Carson going higher than the Department of Education. I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump gave him a cabinet position, and then in 2 or 3 years, whenever the election cycle is up again, you're looking at Governor Ben Carson.
Sam, Secretary of State, Attorney General.
Let me finish. What I think we're going to see, my main prediction, I'll give you my main prediction for the next 4 years. When you saw Obama give Hillary Clinton hell, and then they made up after Obama won, and then she became Secretary of State, and then she got the run for president. Donald J. Trump, in my prediction, given at 4:07 in the morning, and the day Trump barely won, thank you, Jesus, Donald J. Trump is going to treat Ben Carson much like Hillary Clinton. You're going to see Ben Carson given a good position somewhere in the cabinet, and probably not Secretary of State, but maybe. And you are going to see Ben Carson treated very, very well, so that if Donald Trump runs in 2020, then he's going to run probably with Ben Carson by his side like a Siamese twin. Vice President, maybe, I don't know. But by his side like Aberdeen was to Clinton. And then you will see when Donald Trump leaves office, whether it's 2020 or 2024, you will see Donald Trump personally setting up Ben Carson in some way for something great. That is my prediction. How'd I do? I gave you specifics, not Secretary of State, but I gave you specifics. How'd I do? Ben Carson and maybe, unfortunately, Chris Christie is going to possibly be in the same boat. That's my prediction.
Rudy Giuliani, any type of position?
Giuliani, this is terrible because I don't want to say this. I don't want to be a downer tonight. Giuliani has a lot of energy, but the cancer took his toll on him, and I don't want this to be the case, but Giuliani's not going to be able to run in 2020 unless, much like Jesus gave us America.
I meant a position in a Trump administration.
Yeah, very likely, if not a close advisor.
Close advisor. Okay.
Giuliani, if I was President Trump, I would want to keep Giuliani close enough that he realizes that he's respected, but not so close that I can't lose him if he passes on. And see, I'm not happy about this. I wouldn't have voted for Giuliani for president. I'm not going to lie.
You're a realist.
But Giuliani is a good man who looks really sick. Well, and I hope he never hears this video. If you're a friend of Giuliani, if God forbid Giuliani were to see this, bless you, my friend. Bless you and thank you for what you did in New York. Unfortunately, you don't look well.
Have you ever seen that video of the monkey that sniffs his poo and then he falls out of the tree? But no, Sam, listen to me.
You're like horrible to it. All right, what's your...
Sam,
now I'm going to put you on the spot. You put my balls on the line and you put the axe out. What do you see?
You put I didn't put any ass out. You did.
All right. I mean figuratively. Who do you see getting in Trump close? I said Giuliani, satellite, Ben Carson, ultra close. Who do you see?
I think we're going to see some names that we haven't heard before, including generals, admirals, other...
Petraeus. Do you think, the way he talked about Petraeus, will we see a return of Petraeus?
No.
Ooh, a straight
No,
no.
I know he's talked about him, and there might be like some minor reprieve, but there won't be a
What
welcome
damage you
back.
think?
There won't be a welcome back Carter for Petraeus. Okay, I can tell you that. But I could see Carson. I know Carson, Christie are all, and the other guys. They're all involved in the transition team. I don't really see his sons taking off politically for another 4 to 8 years, or his daughters. But I do see a lot of military and former military and brass really significantly involved, especially when it comes to military issues and veterans issues and veterans administration. But my question going forward now, Sam, that we know, and I can't wait to go to work tomorrow and be like, hey, everyone, you know what I've been saying the past year and a half? Yeah, thank you. Can you guys fucking buy me a fucking pizza today? Thank you very much. So I'll probably get free pizza tomorrow for being.
Yes, it's true.
I'll probably get free pizza tomorrow for being so right for so long. But Sam, going forward, now that we know that Trump is, thank you. Now that we know that Trump is the president, what will become of not just Hillary, but the Clintons as a family, their legacy, their criminality, their investigations? What will become of the Clintons? What will become of the FBI? What will become of the Department of Justice? I mean, would you like to see Trey Gowdy get any kind of new position? What do you think about all this stuff? And don't forget that Bernie Sanders is still a senator. Go ahead, Sam.
I think that we're looking at an area. There's a number of questions there. First of all, Christelle, behind the scenes queen, wanted me to say Ivanka Trump. The reason I don't think you'll see her is that'll be looked at as collusion, but I do think she has a future in politics. To answer the question given off camera, now is not the time for her. The time for her is to lay low. It'll look as collusion if you do anything else. But otherwise, yeah, she's got the brains for it. Christelle.
Okay, I agree with that.
I think to answer your question, moving forward, the Clintons, here's my prediction, are going to focus on doing everything they can do to get a pardon from Donald Trump. And you're going to have a very angry left. You're going to have a very angry left. I think Donald Trump is going, and this is going to sound kind of complicated, I think he's going to keep his promise to the American people and look after her in some way regarding what she did during the illegalities concerning emails. But considering her bad health, I do think at the end of the day she's not going to see any solid jail time. And I think Donald Trump is going to use that as a way to say, hey, look, here's my olive branch to you. Can we please make peace? He's going to use Hillary Clinton as the sacrificial lamb to capitulate a little bit without losing on anything major that he wanted, which I think is probably a brilliant move to make.
Whoa. Sacrificial lamb, brilliant move. This is a very interesting, very prophetic, brilliant point that you're making. If you could just rewind just a little and reiterate clearly, say it one more time, because I think that you're really onto something. Go ahead.
I got my friend Kenny in this room. I got my wife Christelle in the room, and of course D-Lake for Prez. I'm talking to you. I'm going to pretend I'm Donald Trump. And I promised you that Kenny was this crazy axe murderer, and I'm not going to let him in the house no matter what he does. He's chopping down my door with an axe. I'm not going to let him in. All right, Donald Trump has to keep the illegal immigrant promise, so he's not going to capitulate on that. And now Christelle in the other room, she is adamant that we're going to raise taxes. We're going to raise taxes. And I said, no, we're not. So I'm not going to listen to her either. Now everybody thinks that I won't listen to a third point of view. And then there's D-Lake. The only thing D-Lake ever did was maybe bicker with me on air on the Media Speaks. I'm going to go ahead and forgive D-Lake. And I'm going to tell everybody it's fine. All right, fine. I gave in. You got it. Yeah. And meanwhile, I kept the most important thing. The axe murderer didn't get in. the person that wanted to raise my taxes didn't get in. He's going to use Hillary Clinton to say, you know what? We don't need to focus on prosecuting people who are very sick, who I beat in the election by a landslide. Let's move forward. And everyone's going to say, oh, look, Donald Trump gave in. Meanwhile, I don't think he's going to give in on anything that matters. And I think that that is actually a brilliant move.
But Sam, you said that. No. But Sam, to go back to what you said earlier about Donald Trump, like, we're really going to be watching him, and we're really going to be, we're going to be critical of him now that he is the president, to follow through on the things that he said. Now, he said during the debate, when she challenged him on, like, we couldn't have someone like you in charge of the laws, and he's like, yeah, because you'd be in jail. People since the Republican National Convention, at every single rally since the Republican National Convention going back months ago, and even at his victory speech tonight, are still chanting, lock her up, lock her up.
I agree. But I think by the time any court case mounted against her, including, she's got good lawyers, they're going to stall in the courts. Put that wherever you want. They're going to stall in the courts. I think that by the time you were able to prosecute her, whatever illness it is that she has will have manifested so far that he won't have an incentive to do it. You can only get so much blood from her.
Sam.
Really sick. I think she's really sick.
Sam, you're very smart. Sam, you're a very smart guy. Sam, you're a very smart guy. Does Hillary Clinton have a case against James Comey and the FBI for doing their weird information releases to the public, where they say the case is back on, the case is over? They interjected, and even going back to July, they interjected into the election the ongoing investigations into their cases 3 times. Does Hillary have a case against them for doing that in this election?
It's twofold answer. First of all, by the time she's able to prove that case, the illness I was talking about earlier will have probably progressed. Second of all,
you're saying Hillary would be dead before any case could be prosecuted?
By the time Comey would back it up, yes. But my second point is this. If she has a case, then let me ask you a question at 418. What kind of question, what kind of answer should Ron Paul have for having been cheated in Iowa? Because by the time it was admitted, it cost him the Republican election. So, how far do you want to rewind this here? It's pretty twisted at some point. If you take it all the way back, what do we owe reparations for sins 200 years ago? Where does it end? The second point of this is that Hillary brought this upon herself. She's lucky Comey didn't continue the investigation even later. Not that he presented it when he did. And I never got to my third prediction, which is we at 419 will be talking about Justin Amish in 2020. Not necessarily president, but we will be talking about him a lot more than we are now, because unless something horrible happens to the man, it is not Rand Paul who is the new Ron Paul. It is Justin Amish, who is my choice for president. Tonight, when we had a big win, I would rather be talking to you tonight about President Justin Amish than I would President Donald Trump. However, if I can't have Amish, I would have taken Trump. That is how much I believe in this man. Christelle is over here making monkey faces beside me. She's so happy. Justin
I'm kind of making monkey faces too, Sam, because you're talking about Justin Amish. That's
Justin Amish in 2020 will be what Ron Paul was when he first started to blow up. Mark my words.
I'll mark your words.
Christelle is asking if he couldn't get a spot as a VP pick, maybe.
No, as a spot in the cabinet.
Oh, All right, hey, D-Lake.
That one hasn't been talked about.
D-Lake, do me a favor. Look up the voting record of Justin Amish and let me know if you think he might be a welcomed addition. Let's say Donald Trump.
What do you think?
Let's say Donald Trump picks fill in the blank to have a cabinet position. And fill in the blank was to get sick like Tony Snow did. And that was an absolute disaster when he got too sick. I mean, really, it was terrible. Let's say he had to pick somebody in 2018. Could we be looking at Justin Amish? Justin Amash, AMASH. Are you familiar with him, D-Lake?
I'm sorry, Sam. I started getting off on other stuff. When you start talking about Justin Amish, I kind of tune out, Sam.
All right, do me a favor. Look up online, because you're the king of looking stuff up online. I am. Look up AMASH, Justin Amash, and ask me, or ask yourself even, if this isn't a person that you could really see having a strong influence in the future. AMASH, you like? That looks like you're looking up Ashanti. Hey, there you go. Not the R&B singer. Perfect. Justin Amash. AMASH, Justin Amash. He's more like Ron Paul than
Amash 2020 came up in the autofill. Amash Trump and Amash 2020 in the Google autofill right there.
Really?
He might be getting a spot in the cabinet.
D-Lake, look at Amash, please.
No, Sam, your wife sounds smarter than you about this. She says spot in the cabinet, and you're not even saying that.
I'm saying possible spot in the cabinet by 2020 or by 2018 because he's really young.
It doesn't matter if you have the intellect to
I agree.
Done.
I just don't know if Donald Trump would agree. But look at him. Like, really look at him, D. Like, what? Let's get D-Lake's on-air response to this. D-Lake, go.
But you're hinting at a 2020 run on the night that Donald Trump just won the presidential election for 2016. So that sounds a little, very far in the future. But, I've made a lot of predictions too, so you never know. But what I do know is 2 hours ago, John Podesta, who we know from all his spirit cooking emails, says Hillary Clinton is not conceding tonight, and she isn't giving a concession speech tonight. John Podesta said. You need to listen to everything that John Podesta says. Oh, yeah. Oh, do they have a picture? Did you guys see how fancy the place that she was at was? But look at this place. Looks like Legoland. It was such a magnificent place. And Trump's looked like a high school gym. And hers looked like Legoland. And she didn't win. And John Podesta said, several states are too close to call. So we're not going to have anything more to say tonight. He told supporters at the Javits Center in New York. Oh, they were in New York after 2 weeks. Oh, and didn't they already cancel the fireworks? Yeah, those were canceled. It hasn't taken this long to deliver a concession speech in a presidential race since 2004. Well, don't we all remember during the third debate when they asked Donald Trump what he would do on the night, and would he concede, and would he give his concession speech, and would he say, I concede on the night of? And he was like, look, I'll let you know. I'll keep you in suspense. And they were like, oh, my God, how can he fucking say that? And now Hillary Clinton ain't saying goddamn jack shit because Donald Trump wins, and Hillary Clinton's a dumb bitch, and she's going to jail. Whoop, whoop, whoop. D-Lake, friends, Sam, we called this shit, dude. We're sitting here sucking each other's cocks because we're like, oh, you're so great, and you called it, and you're like, no, you're so great, you called it, and I'm like, no, you're so great, you called it, and you're like, no, you're the best, you called it, and I'm like, no, you are, you're better than me.
I will say this, and here's one of the cool things. Yes, I predict a spot for Justin Amish in the cabinet, not right away, but before 2020. If
Okay.
not the cabinet, then I predict him to have a huge following. Will he run against Trump? Probably not. But by 2020, everyone will know who Justin Amash is, I promise. In terms of Trump,
Now, is he a senator or a congressman?
or he's a congressman, I do have a question here. Who do you see in the Trump cabinet? Because I said Carson. Who do you see in the Trump cabinet? You said people we don't know. Who do you predict it to do?
General Flynn, General Mike Flynn. Possibly Newt Gingrich.
Oh, I hadn't thought about Gingrich.
Chris Christie, maybe, but I think Chris Christie just had actually like a bad couple of days because some of his people got busted on that Bridgegate shit. So it might be a while before we hear from him again. You know who I'd like to see? I can't tell you the position, just people that I like that are within his realm. Mike Huckabee.
I love Huckabee. I would be so happy.
Rand Paul, who you might know of, Rand Paul, Bobby Jindal.
No, he hates Rand Paul. Rand Paul hates him.
They do not hate each other. They've golfed together, and Donald Trump has given money to his ophthalmology.
Never again. Never after that run.
You'd be surprised. They're still good friends.
I would like to be surprised.
I am calling right now.
Uh-oh.
Rand Paul and Donald Trump's administration. I'm calling it. Do you like friends? Rand Paul. Well, he's a senator now.
I would love
He will work really well with Trump, and possibly that will lead to a future position as a cabinet position. It will expand into a cabinet position.
I would love to see Rand Paul in the Trump administration.
I could see Ted Cruz looking like he'll get a cabinet position and not getting one.
Ted Cruz, I don't know.
It'll look like it, and then he won't get it.
I don't see Ted Cruz. Did you see that George W. Bush did not vote?
I'm sorry, say it. What's that?
Did you see that George W. Bush did not vote?
No, I heard that was kind of false. He voted, but it was weeks ago. And at first they said he voted for Hillary. He said, no, I voted weeks ago and it wasn't for Hillary. But that's all we know.
I don't think he voted. It was coming up as a Twitter trend that George W. Bush did not vote.
All right.
Can you find out?
It's getting pretty rare. I can't believe that Donald Trump is president.
But I'm so grateful, dude. Thank Jesus alive. You got to look it up. Did George W. Bush vote? Come on, one more search.
No, I'm telling you, I looked it up earlier.
It came up on my feed that he did not vote. So now I'm going to look it up too. Before we log off, did George W.
I saw it on Rush. Rush Limbaugh said we reported earlier that he didn't vote, but we found out from his office that he did vote weeks ago, but it wasn't for Hillary.
Nor Trump. USA Today, 6 hours ago. George W. Bush voted for neither Trump nor Clinton. It's 6 hours ago.
Okay, well,
despite what you might have heard on Election Day, the 43rd president reportedly did not vote for Hillary Clinton. At this point, we're not sure what he did with the presidential field. Conservative radio show host Rush Limbaugh said Tuesday that George W. Bush and his wife, Laura Bush, reportedly voted for Clinton. Bush's spokesperson said that isn't the case, telling the Texas Tribune in an email that the Bushes didn't vote for Clinton or Donald Trump. New York Times reporter Jonathan Martin followed that up with news that the Bushes actually left the presidential field blank. But the Wall Street Journal reported the spokesman declined to say whether they'd voted third party or written in a name. Bush and his father, George H.W. Bush, our 41st president, both refused to endorse Donald Trump during the election season. According to the Texas Tribune, an aide for George W. Bush said in May the former president didn't plan to participate in or comment on the presidential campaign. Bush's 41 and 43 and former Republican presidential candidate Jeb Bush skipped the 2016 Republican National Convention, and in August, George W. Bush gave a speech that many interpreted as an attack against Trump. There is one Bush that might have voted for Clinton, though. Former Maryland Lieutenant Governor Kathleen Hardington Kennedy Townsend said in September that George H.W. Bush planned to vote for her, but that hasn't been confirmed by the former president or his spokesman. For Newsy, I'm Christian Bryant.
Well,
the Bush family makes up less than a dozen votes, and Donald Trump already won. On Rush Limbaugh, it says, correction. We've been told by President George W. Bush's office that President Bush did not vote for Hillary Clinton, as was reported earlier on the Rush Limbaugh show. He voted weeks ago and did not vote for Hillary Clinton. It does not say he voted for Donald Trump. He could have voted for himself, wrote in Mickey Mouse or Charlie Brown.
It's awesome, D-Lake. Today is a great day for America.
I feel that it is too. I feel not just for me, not just for bragging rights and for D-Lake.
No, it's way bigger than that.
No, that's not what it's about. The only reason that we've been doing this, the only reason that we've been pumping up the way we feel,
right on,
is because, one, we don't want Hillary Clinton. That should be the obvious first thing that we realize about it. Second of all, we want a strong leader, which a majority and plurality of people today said in the exit pollings that they want a strong leader. We don't want a weak, feckless leader like Obama that we've had for the past 8 years. We want a strong leader, and we feel like we're getting that with Donald J. Trump. We would have never gotten that with Hillary. We're totally against Hillary. It's been such a crazy election year, and people talk about that, and they don't want either of the candidates. They don't want Trump or Hillary. Okay. Well, why don't you take Trump and Hillary out of the equation? Then what do you have? You have Mike Pence versus Tim Kaine. Who the fuck in their right mind wants Tim Kaine? Tim Kaine is a loser. Oh, he's won 8 elections. That's what I was going to tell you. He says he won 8 elections and never lost one. Well, guess what happened tonight? So he has no future. Tim Kaine is done. Hillary and Clinton are done. Donald J. Trump, our president, single-handedly eliminated the Bushes and the Clintons, just like I said he would. I said the 2016 presidential election is going to come down to George Bush and Hillary Clinton unless Donald J. Trump can stop them, and he did it. He fucking did it. Can you believe he fucking did it? The Bushes and the Clintons.
I still can't believe he did it.
Fucking eliminated the Bushes. Oh my God.
Today might be the first day.
God, are you kidding me?
Today might be the first day that I actually go to sleep feeling like, oh my God, something on a global scale was actually accomplished today. Something for the first time in my
that means
existence has finally happened that really matters on a global scale, and I got to see it. I am thrilled, and I pray that he is what you and I hoped him to be.
If he can arrest George Soros in his first 100 days, I will fucking just die.
My third time voting, and I got the president that I chose.
She picked Obama too, but we won't go there.
Huh?
She's a little younger than me. Yeah, it's
right. She was right though.
So D-Lake, I'm gonna jump off here as I'm sure you are to get some Z's. It's 4:30.
I'm ready to get some Z's, bro.
I've been on air for like 10 out of like 12 hours. I went to George's in Canton for a minute. Free shout out there to George's. I do want to say, friends, you can find the correct views at youtube.com/correctviews. the correct views at hotmail.com. You can donate there through PayPal. I would greatly appreciate that. I'm on Tumblr. And D-Lake, where can they find you, Mr. Yanni?
In the next 2 to 3 minutes, they can find me comfortably cozy and starting to curl up in the fetal position in bed, where I'll be going soon to sleep. If there's any hot young ladies that would like to join me, find me on Facebook or on the Media Speaks. Oh, it'll be so great. You can come over. We'll curl up together and talk about Donald Trump and some other stuff. Oh, it'll be great. Okay.
D-Lake,
everyone, I can't believe that he is our president.
D-Lake, D-Lake, I need you to do something. I need you to do something before you get off, D-Lake. Do me a favor. I need you to be President Trump one more time, and then, of course, I'll give my closing line, and you can kill the broadcast. But we're going to do President Trump, what is it we're going to do with the moon? Donald Trump, what are we going to do with the moon?
Thank you.
No, give us the best you've ever done it.
Thank you. I am so honored to be your president. And as your president, I will tell you that we are going to the moon. The Trump moon. It will be known. We're going to put a sign on the moon. Trump moon. The Trump moon. We're going to build a wall around the moon because we don't want any damn pesky Russians on our moon. America first, especially on the moon.
Oh my God, friends. Nothing is better than the Trump moon. I was worried he was going to lose and we were never going to get to hear about the Trump moon again. But now, thanks to you.
In closing, I would just like to say
we are going to get to hear about the Trump moon for 4 years. Oh, God.
Look, the first 4 years is just about the moon. 8 years, Trump Mars.
D-Lake, Trump 2016, pour juice on your chin.